Hi everyone. I've read a good amount of the stories on here, and I've had a recent experience that compels me to post about my stay at a hotel in Chicago over the past few days. I headed off to Chicago this past Monday on July 18th for a business trip with my colleague. We'll call her Anna. Unfortunately, all of the hotels were booked, so I went to a travel site to grab a hotel and luckily found one in the Congress Plaza Hotel. Now, I had no clue about the Congress Plaza Hotel's reputation as being one of the most haunted hotels and locations in Chicago, but I was soon about to become very informed. Stepping into the hotel is an unsettling experience. Just standing in the lobby, there's a very dark atmosphere about the place. I joked around with the staff about the place being haunted and got no responses or laughs, which I found to be odd. The staff doesn't formally recognize anything associated with hauntings or admit to anything. I took the elevator up to the third floor with Anna to check out the fitness center, and man, is that floor creepy. The carpet was ancient, lights were flickering up and down the halls, and perhaps the most unsettling thing is the silence. The staff told me that the hotel was completely booked out, but I wouldn't have known that had they told me. After walking down the hall to nothing but the sound of our steps thudding against the carpet, we checked out the dark fitness room and then headed our separate ways. I took the elevator up to room 968, and Anna took the other elevator to room 443, next door to 441, which is the most infamous room in the hotel. The front desk upgraded me to a king-size suite, which was complimentary. I took the elevator up to the hall and had to walk through a staircase with the flickering light to get to my room. Again, dead silence, except for a loud rumbling that would permeate the air. At the corner of the hall was 968. I walked into the room and immediately didn't feel comfortable. The room was vast and spacious, consisting of a sitting room, two very large closets, and a huge master bedroom with an amazing view of Millennium Park. I unpacked and got settled into the room, only to hear a creaking. I walked to my door and saw it was ajar. I reached over to grab the handle, and right before I touched it, it slammed shut. I was caught off guard and felt my heart rate skyrocket, but figured maybe the timing was just that crazy that before I touched the handle, it shut. Whatever, right? I walked back to my bedroom and looked at the clock, which was stuck on 3:17. I waited about 5 minutes, and the clock never changed. After picking up the clock, it suddenly turned on, and I heard a ton of static and what sounded like a mumbled voice. I put down the clock. Since my phone was running low, I plugged it into a nearby outlet. The phone began charging. I could see the battery increase, and then immediately powered off. After waiting for the phone to charge, I picked it up and called my cousin to see what they were up to. The call dropped about 3 or 4 times. When I finally got a hold of my cousins, the reception was replaced with a lot of static. I heard voices on the other end of the line whispering something, and asked my cousins what exactly they were whispering. They told me they haven't said anything for the past few minutes, because I'd been breaking up so badly on the line. I had traveled all day, so I decided to take a hot shower. Prior to turning on the water, I could see the mirror was spotless. It looked like it was doused in Windex. As I turned on my shower, the water took a while to turn hot, but I waited and steam filled up the whole bathroom. I took my shower and stepped out, and before my eyes, I saw a 9, a 6, and an 8 materialize in the mirror. I didn't acknowledge what was happening and thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. I looked away, and looked up again, and sure enough, there was a 968 on the mirror. My room number. I walked quickly out of my bathroom to grab my phone to take a picture, but by the time I walked back in, the number was gone. I looked closely at the mirror and could see no outlines of any numbers or smudges. Now, I'm not a superstitious guy, even though I've had a few experiences prior. Seeing the numbers in the mirror quickly hit my gut, and I felt compelled to get out of that room. I'm not sure what it was, but I knew I had to leave. It wasn't fear that ran through me, but rather a sense of urgency. I went out to dinner with Anna and came back to talk to the front desk. The manager pulled me inside a separate section and asked me what happened, and I told her my story. She looked terrified. She said this is the first time she's heard about numbers appearing in a mirror. I asked her if her housekeepers do things like this to pull pranks, and she said no, apologized, and got me a room change. When I talked to security, they were freaked out as well. They said I'm the second person that night to talk to them about something happening. One of them offered to help me grab my stuff to transfer it to my new room, but I politely declined and returned to my room. I went back up to 968 to grab my stuff, and the room was pitch black. I turned on lights one by one and began packing my stuff. At once, I felt eyes on me. The room was obviously empty, but I felt a presence. Immediately, I felt uncomfortable, but I didn't acknowledge it and continued packing my things. It felt like an eternity, truly, but I managed to grab all my things and left the room with all the lights on. I moved down to room 462, and this hallway was even more unsettling than the previous one. Pure silence. Not a single sound. I felt like this place was abandoned. 462 was smaller than 968 by a good deal, and I felt more comfortable here. I stayed awake finishing up some work and felt my eyes drooping. I was falling asleep. I fell asleep for a good time period and was woken up by a loud thud outside my door at around 2 or 3 a.m. I ignored it and fell back asleep. I checked out the next morning and spoke to Anna, who was in 443 next to 441, the most haunted room in the hotel. Apparently, Anna had a few experiences as well. Initially, she heard screaming a few doors down from her, but it quickly stopped when security knocked on the door and asked if anyone was in the room. The second instance was when she set her alarm on her phone to wake up, but instead of her phone playing her usual ringtone, it played static and voices. Anna said that she turned off her alarm, but it kept coming back on, with the voices increasing in volume every single time. She eventually turned off her phone completely, because that was the only way to stop the voices. Anna said that she's never had something like this happen to her before, and she was pretty freaked out as well. All in all, my stay at the Congress Plaza Hotel was pretty unsettling. I'm pretty stoked I'm out of the place, and I have no intention of going back. It's apparent that there's a lot of dark energy around, and I, for one, want no part of it.